Welcome to Accounting for Senior Cycles. So starting with introduction to accounting, we have the concept, the basis, and the policies. The introduction. Accounting is the process of preparing financial information for all types of organizations. This includes profit-making organizations, non-profit-making organizations, and other types of business institutions like banks. So accounting is all about preparing financial information. And we have two main accounting areas. We have financial accounting and management accounting. So we're going to start with financial accounting. So we're going to start with financial accounting. For financial accounting, it focuses on the past events. This is where the financial information related to an organization's past financial transactions are being collected and recorded. That's why we call it financial accounting. Financial accounting is simply about the past events. That means the past transaction of businesses. We have to put them together in terms of we have to collect and record them. That's financial accounting. Then this financial statement shows both the financial performance of an organization within a year and the financial position, which is the statement of financial position. So we have the income statement and the statement of financial position for financial accounting. Thank you. So for the financial statements, the financial statement prepared consists of for the financial statement, it is prepared and it consists of manufacturing account, the trading account, the profit and loss account, the balance sheet, and the cash flow system. So what are the objectives of financial accounting? One, to provide an organization with the financial information it needs to assess its performance. So the first objective of financial accounting, based on the fact that it collects and records past transactions, it means a business can use it to measure its performance over the past year. Two, to aid an organization in its financial decision-making process. A business can use its financial statements to make decisions about the future of the organization. Three, to prepare the financial statement in accordance with the rules and regulations as set out by the various accounting regulatory bodies. It is also by law that a limited company provides or publish its financial statement. And for that to happen, it needs to record and it needs to collect and record its past financial transaction. The next one is management accounting. I want to talk about management accounting. It focuses on future events. It is primarily concerned with future financial decisions. So the example given, the number of units of a product that should be manufactured, information provided in management accounting allows organizations to plan, control, make decisions. For example, preparing production and cash budget. For management accounting is simply about making day-to-day decision of the organization for future financial purpose. So it's all about the budget of the organization. It's all about the production of the organization. That is what it is. For the financial accounting, it talks about the past record. But for the management accounting, it talks about the future in terms of decision making. So what are the qualities of financial information? For financial information to benefit an organization and its various users, the information must have the following four main qualities. What are the qualities that a financial information must possess? Number one, it must be relevant. The information must meet the requirements of the users. So when we talk about being relevant, it simply means what is being required of you is what should be given to the users of financial statements. Two, be reliable. The information must be certified by a director or an auditor. It must be an information that has been satisfied, that has been attested on, that has been passed, that has been checked, okay, by experts. Be comparable. The information must be prepared on a consistent basis from one accounting period to the next. This is to allow users to easily compare financial results from each accounting period. So there must be consistency in preparing accounting, putting information together. Without that, it becomes difficult for accounting users to compare the previous record with the present record. And the last one, it must be understandable. The information must be clear and concise and understood by the users. Whatever information the business is passing across to the users of financial information, it must be understood, it must be clear and concise to make it understandable for the users. So who are the users of financial information? The users of financial information are the banks or other lending institutions, trade creditors, shareholders, potential shareholders, directors and senior management, employees and trade unions, competitors, and revenue commissioners. So we're going to start one at a time with each financial user and their interest. The first one, the banks. Banks and other lending institutions. What are their interests? One, can the business repay overdraft and loans? So one of their interests is to ensure, one of their interests is to know or to understand if giving out a loan to a bank or to a business, the business has the capability to pay back the loan. So the creditworthiness of a business is one of their priority, and that's why they have interest in the business. Two, can the business meet interest payments? Aside paying back the debt, the overdraft or the loan, can the business keep up with the interest, which because the interest is the reward for the loan being given to the businesses. So financial institutions want to be sure that businesses can meet up with the interest payment. And the last one, what security or collateral is available? Before a bank will give out a loan to a business, they want to be sure that the loan is secure. And to secure it, they need collateral, they need assets. They want to ensure that the asset is worth more than the amount of money given as a loan. Then we go to trade creditors. When we talk about trade creditors, we are talking about our credit suppliers. What is their interest? Can the business pay its bills as they fall due? In essence, is the business liquid? Credit suppliers want to be sure that the invoice can be paid as at when due. Does the business has enough liquid to pay its debts? If not, they won't be able to give a supply on credit. Where are creditors placed in the ranking order for payments? What is their place? What is their position when it comes to making payment? Does the business put them as priority or not? So these are things they put into consideration before giving out a supply on credit. Then ordinary shareholders. For ordinary shareholders, these are the main owners of the business. So how profitable is the business? Their interest is to know how profitable the business is, because the more profitable the business, the more reward for them on investment. How much dividend will be paid if there's any? They want to know the amount of dividends they have to get if they are investing in such business. Is the business liquid? They want to be sure that the business has enough working capital. Is the business solvent? They want to be sure that the business has the ability to turn liquid to cash, to turn assets to cash. What is the market value of the shares? What is the worth of the business? This is also important. Then for potential shareholders, is the business a good investment opportunity? They don't just want to invest. They want to be sure that the business has the potential to yield a return if they are investing. What is the market value of one ordinary share? They want to also know if the value of the share is always increasing or reducing. What is the dividend policy and dividend yield? They want to know, they want to understand the policy, the ways in which dividends are being paid, and the return of dividends. And what are their earnings per share? What will they get for each share they buy? For directors and senior management, they want to be sure that the business is profitable. They want to be sure that the business has liquid. They want to be sure that the business is solvent. And they want to be sure that also the performance of their performance is also important. The directors want to know how performing their managers are. Employees and trade unions, what are their interests? They want to be sure, they want to know how profitable the business is, because the more the profit the business is, the tendency of them getting more. And for trade union, they want to know if they have to negotiate higher wages for their members. Can the business afford current wage levels and possible future wage demands? They want to be sure that their future is certain with the organization. How secure are pensions? They want to know what they earn at the end of their tenure, at the end when they have to go for their gratuity at the end of their working year. They want to be sure about their pensions too. For competitors, what is their interest and why do they need financial statement of their rivals? How is the firm performing in relation to other businesses in the same industry? Competitors will use the financial statement of their rivals to know how the business is performing in the whole market. Two, is the business worth considering for a possible takeover? Competitors might have interest in the business. Does it worth taking over the business? Does it worth integrating with the business? Does it worth buying over the business? This is why they need the financial statements. Then revenue, commissioners, and governments. Is the business paying all its taxes on time? They want to be sure that the business is paying its taxes and as at when due. Is the business eligible for government and EU grants? They want to be sure that the business, they want to know if the business has the right to be given a grant or a grant from government. They want to be sure that the business is a good prospect for awarding government contracts to. They also want to deal with businesses, but they want to be sure that they are dealing with the right businesses. And if they have to deal with businesses, they want to be sure that whatever contract they give to those businesses will be executed. So that takes us to accounting concepts. And when we talk about accounting concepts, we're talking about principles that guide the preparing accounting information and records. So there are 4 main accounting concepts. These apply to all financial information. It is presumed that the accounts are prepared with these concepts in mind. The 4 main accounting concepts are the going concern, accrual matching concept, consistency, and prudence. So we're going to start with going concern. For going concern concept, when preparing an account, it must be assumed that the business will continue to operate in its present form for the foreseeable future. The going concern concept simply talks about that accounting information should be prepared in a way that it will last forever. So businesses should be seen as a going concern. That means they will never end. Then the accrual matching concept. All items that is income and expenditure that belongs to the accounting period must be entered in the financial statement for that period, regardless of whether or not payment is paid or received. For example, interest payable receivable on a loan investment for the period must enter the full even if the full amount is not paid or received. So for accrual or matching concept, whatever transaction that has been done, either payment has been made or not, it has to be recorded for the financial year. If financial statements are not prepared on an accrual basis, profit and assets will be overstated or understated for the period covered by the statement of statements, because expenses and income included or excluded may refer to a past or future period. The reason why we have to use accrual matching concept is that if we don't use accrual matching concept, we might overstate or understate our profits and assets over that period. Then the principle of consistency. Accounting items must be treated exactly the same way from one accounting period to the next. Example given, depreciation of assets. If you are using a straight line method, you should continue using the straight line method. The principle of consistency simply means that the accounting items must be prepared the way you prepare your accounting items. So whatever accounting analysis you use for the previous, you have to continuously use the same accounting principle or accounting calculation consequently or subsequently. Then prudence. When preparing an account, caution should be exercised. In essence, losses can be anticipated, but gains cannot. Example given, provision for bad debts. This ensures that profits are not overstated and losses are not understated. When preparing accounting information, your financial statement, it is important to be prudent. And prudence simply means that you can anticipate losses, but you cannot anticipate gains. You should make provisions for bad debts. And because if you don't make provision for bad debts, and if the debt goes bad, it means you might be overstating your profit or understating your losses. So it is important for a business to put into consideration these 4 principles when preparing the financial statement: going concern, accrual principle, consistency, and prudence. And there are other items, there are other concepts and conventions that a business might put into consideration, which are entity. The business is separate from its owners. there's a clear distinction between the owner's business and their private affairs. So another accounting concept or principle is that the business should be treated as a separate entity from the owners of the business. Money measurement. Only items which have monetary value can be entered in the financial account. For example, items such as staff morale cannot be included. So whatever information you want to enter, whatever information that has to be recorded in the financial statement, it should be items that has a monetary value. We don't record moral of the workers. We don't record items that are not monetary value, items that are abstract. We cannot record them in the accounting, the financial statement. Materiality. Some items may be too small to be regarded as material significance. The size of the item is considered relative to the profit of the organization. As a general rule, an item is material if it is greater than 5% of overall profit, as it would impact decision making by users. So if items are less than 5%, might not record them in the financial statement. Realization principle. Profit is earned when the goods and services pass to the consumers and not when they are paid for. So it has to be understood that a business is making its profit as soon as the customer accepts the liability of the transaction. Double entry. For every debit entry, there must be a corresponding credit entry. And for every credit entry, there must be a corresponding debit entry. So this also could be seen for every left, there must be a right. So that is another principle, double entry principle. Period of account convention. The length of each accounting period must be consistent with the next accounting period. This is usually 1 year, which means accounting transaction must be within a year. Then objectivity. Accounting must be prepared without any personal bias. Each figure should be independently backed up with relevant documents. For example, invoice. Accounts should not be prepared in bias. We must not drive cost. We must record transactions based on information that are available. So that takes us to accounting basis. The different ways in which items can be treated in the accounts are known as accounting basis. So we call it accounting basis because these are ways in which items can be treated, in which creditors, debtors, assets, liabilities can be treated in the accounting. Then we have the accounting policies. These are the accounting policies, the accounting base chosen by an organization to treat items in an account. So accounting policies are ways in which we want to use our accounting base when we are preparing an account as an organization. So we end today's lessons here. So we've talked about the introduction to accounting, we've talked about financial accounting, we've talked about accounting principles. In the next class, we're going to talk about accounting records, which is chapter 2. Thank you.